ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो हरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 Mantra 7. Nantah pragnam na bahishpragnam na ubhayatah pragnam na prajnanaganam na pragnam na pragnam adrishtam avyahvaryam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam avyapaleshyam ekatma pratyasaram prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma savigneyah. So we completed this much part. न अंतःप्रज्ञम न बहिष्प्रज्ञम न उभयतःप्रज्ञम न प्रज्ञानघनम न प्रज्ञम न अप्रज्ञम means न अंतःप्रज्ञम, not that there is no dreamer. I am not dreamer. One way I am dreamer, other way I am not dreamer. Yeah. How can you say I am dreamer and I am not dreamer? Because dreamer is I. I pervade the dreamer. That, the dreamer exists in awareness, consciousness. The existence of a dreamer is proven in the existence of a consciousness. And therefore, basically I pervade the dreamer, therefore I can say I am dreamer. But not that, don't equate that I am just dreamer. No, I am waker also. So it's better waker is I, dreamer is I, deep sleeper is I. But literally speaking, really speaking, well, I am the one who is the fourth Turiya, who pervades all the three, distinct from all the three. I am just consciousness. We have seen that meditation. We did not do that meditation, but I explained you in the last class that how I am a witness consciousness. Right? Just knowledge. I said knowledge. So knower basically the dreamer, with the waker, dreamer, etc. So the knower exists as long as an object of knowledge is there. So that's antahkarana alone. But you are the one who is aware of that you are a knower. You are the one, we have done that ahankar atma viveka. You are the one who is aware, who is conscious of that you are a knower now. Here, seer, etc. You are aware that you haven't thought of a particular object, whatever it is. Thought of a Swami, let's say. You are a seer that you are aware of. You have a Swami thought that you are aware of. And there is a Swami there you are aware of. So basically the knower, the known Swami, knower you, and the very thought of the Swami, all the three exist in one awareness, consciousness. It cannot go away from that, right? It cannot be separate from that. Therefore, consciousness is basically the essence of this triad. This triad comes and goes. Yeah, triad comes and goes. Now you are seeing Swami. Next moment you see something else. You hear something else. Then accordingly the triad will differ. But basically you are the ever-present knowledge, consciousness, because of which you are conscious of everything. Non-changing consciousness. That's called witness consciousness. The knower changes, right? The waker goes away, dreamer comes, etc. And in a waking also keeps changing, doer and etc. And even as a seer. See, what happens is, we should remember, we have to see this. So because ahankara means basically this aham vritti is whose object is entire mind. So any thought occurs in mind, it owns up. So when chakshusha vritti occurs, right, a Swami thought occurs in your mind, it owns up. When it owns up, it will say, I am a seer. Suppose a shabda vritti will be there, you hear something and that the thought of the sound will be there. Then, it occurs in the mind, and there is a aham vritti basically whose object is the entire mind, owning up the entire mind. That's called ahankara. Well, it will say, I am a hearer. Could you follow what I am saying? So it undergoes a change continuously, but you are aware, basically. And I explained you. It's a pratyabhijna pramanam. You only are aware of that you were seer of a Swami few moments before, and now the same I is a hearer of Swami's word. So that I, who doesn't undergo change, who was present in the past, who is present in this moment, like Soyam Devadattaha. Therefore, that I, basically, which is non-changing, which doesn't change, which was in the past, which is in the future, which is in the present, which will be in the future, of course. That is the Sakshi, witness consciousness. Witness of what? Ahankara. Witness of the Antaprajna, witness of the dreamer, witness of the waker, witness of the deep sleeper. And here it is, in a broad scale, it is said, well, I only dreamt, I only slept, and the same I now am a waker. I'm a waker now. So say one I alone pervades all the three, and therefore, basically, that I is a non-changing consciousness, ever-present consciousness, because of which, in whose presence, in whose existence, existence of all the three are proven. So I pervade all. One who lends existence pervades the one which borrows the existence. Totally. Yet it is independent of that, because it is self-existent entity. All other things are mithya. Right? It transcends. Transcending is nothing else. Transcending is not in terms of space or anything. Transcending in terms of reality. That's it. That's a turiya. That's how it is chaturtha. That's a turiya. Now the crucial question is, this witness consciousness is Brahman. How will you say? That is ultimately we have to prove. We need not prove I am Brahman. I am witness consciousness. This is a modern Vedanta. I am just witness. I am a witness consciousness of all the three states, either Jagrita Sthana, Sushupta Sthana, Swapna Sthana. I am Sthani. It pervades all the three. Sthana means an experience or a state. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. I only pervade all the three. Unconnected to anything. Undivided by any state. Undivided. No state can divide me. State comes and goes in me. They are just superimposed upon me. What comes and goes in me is a superimposition. what borrows existence from the one which lends existence, that one who has borrowed existence is a superimposed entity. We should remember it. That's called mithya, that's called adhyastam, that's called superimposed, that's called Brahma. Whatever you like, you can say. You can say even it is a Maya. There is no mithya word in Vedanta. Of course, there is a word Maya. There is no mithya word. But the concept is of a mithya. Yeah. Anyway, so this is how I am Turiya. But this, so I have witnessed consciousness. That is Brahman. That happens to be Brahman, but how will you prove it? And if once you prove it, that this Sakshi, the witness consciousness is Brahman, means you are the self of everything then. You are the content of everything. That's called Sarvatma Bhava. You are content of everything. You are truth of everything. You are self of everything. That Sarvatma Bhava gives you a sense of fulfillment, sense of fullness. You become free from the sense of lack, sense of limitations. That is called samsara, sense of lack. So you become free from samsara. That is moksha. Therefore, it is very essential to prove this pratyagatma. The pratyagatma means which is inner. Inner means not in terms of some kind of a distance, physical distance. Inner means this ultimately witness of everything. But for whom everything is an object. Generally, objectification, the object which is known to you is external compared to the one who knows. So ultimately, this knower, on whose part there is no even a will, effort, anything to know. Just by mere its presence, the things are known. By its mere presence. Because I am ultimately a self-revealing principle. So everything gets revealed to me, including space, time, and the body and mind and senses and memory and doubts and emotions, and everything is revealed to me. The hunger, thirst, everything is revealed to me. I am a self-revealing principle. That's called Pratyagatma, witness consciousness. And ultimately, that witness consciousness, the crucial step is to prove it is Brahman. And in a Taittiriya Upanishad, well, it is called Brahmavit apnoti param. So, the knower of Brahman gains limitlessness, wholeness, fullness. And everyone is seeking. That fullness alone is called Ananda ultimately, right? It is the sense of fullness gives you Ananda. Sense of lack gives you sorrow. A judgment takes place in your mind. I am lacking. You are self-aware. And since you are self-aware, definitely you will be aware of your lack also. Of the self, which you take it as an ignorant one. So you are aware of yourself, which is lacking, which is limited. So that decision is there in your mind, in a buddhi. I am lacking. Immediately, it brings a sorrow in your mind. So behind your sorrow, that feeling, that emotion, what is there is your own decision about yourself, which has a basis again in the ignorance of the self. That's a different thing. So basically, the sense of fullness ultimately comes when you understand that you are everything. You are everything. You are even the thing, you are even the self, the content, the truth of the things which you desire. You are already the self of that. That's how sarvan kaman samashtuta iti. It is brahmana saha. In this brahmana itham bhute, in terms of Brahman, as Brahman, I sarvan kaman samashnute. That's how Anand Mimamsa also talked about. Same thing. What one gains as a human being, all the pleasures that already this person, Shrotriya, such a akamahatasya. This Shrotriya who has gained this knowledge and who has akamahataha, who is not killed by the several desires, is akamahataha, not akamena hataha, who is killed by the akama. No, who is so kama, na kamahataha, akamahataha. People are generally killed by their own desires, right? So that's how Kamadeva works. That's how Kamadeva has a bana. I'm sorry, the Kamadeva has arrows, they call. So he releases one after the other. A single visit to Costco will ultimately kills you because you can't buy certain things which you want to buy. So Kama arises, kills the person. Kamena hataha. Anyway, my point is, so that's Anand Vimansa. So one who, the human being, Yuva Syat Sadhu, Yuva Dhyayaka, etc., etc., a human being who is young and who is Sarva Vittasya Purna Syat, and he's emperor of this, and he has all the wealth of this earth and all that, and the unit and the fullness, the Ananda which he gains is just one unit. And then further and further and further, but all at everywhere, Shrotriyasya Akamahatasya, Shrotriyasya Akamahatasya. Because Sarvan Kaman Samashnute Brahmana Saha. As Brahman, he gain everything. So witness consciousness cannot give you this moksha. You should know, I am the witness consciousness who is none other than Brahman. And not only that, here in the previous mantras it has been said that the Vishwa and the Virat is a Prathama Pada. Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha is a Dvitiya Pada. Then other things. Means basically you are the one who is in the form of Virat. Right? Vishwa and Virat is just Prathama Pada. So, Vishwa is me. No. You are Virat also. Vishwa and Virat are just one, they are superimposed upon you, the self. So you should know that. So as a witness consciousness, you can say, waker is me, dreamer is me, deep sleeper is me. I pervade all the three, yet I am distinct from all the three. I am just pure consciousness, etc., etc. But what about this Virat and all, which has been already said in the mantra? Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. And that also you have to claim. So that you can claim when you say I am Brahman. When you say you are Brahman, then definitely you are not just not just that the Vaker etc. is superimposed upon you. Virat etc. is superimposed upon you. So Vishwa and Virat, Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, Prajna and Ishvara, all are just three padas of you. You are the one which is fourth, which pervades all these three. Not just Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. You pervade even Virat. You are the content of the Virat. You are content of the Hiranyagarbha. Means ultimately you are Ishvara. Chidananda Rupa Shivaha. Not just I am Chidananda, witness consciousness. No. You are Ishvara, Shivaha. So it is a very crucial step. It has to be proven. Anyway, and that is what has been said, Brahmavid apnoti param. He gains Brahman, he gains limitlessness. Anyway, and so then Lakshana was given there, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And also it has been said later, after that Brahmana Saha, etc., it starts the Brahmanandvali in that Brahmanandvali itself. Tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha, etc., etc., and akashad vayu, etc. So the whole world has come from this Brahmatma. And that again, further it has been said, so Kamayata. This Brahmatma is a Brahman, which is the Atma, is a cause, right? Tasmatva etasmad atmana. Tasmad Brahmanaha, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Brahman which is Atma. It has been said, but we have to understand it very clearly. So we have to just, it's not that we have to accept. In Vedanta, it's not like that witness consciousness is Brahman. You can't say that way. Well, Shastra says, and so you accept it, but you want to understand how I am Brahman. I am witness consciousness is one thing, and to claim I am Brahman means I am everything is another thing. Therefore, ultimately, that about that Brahman also it said, so Kamayata, he desired, and then he desired means he created. So Kamayata Bahusyam Prajayeya. So let me become many, etc. Okay? And then Bhruguvalli. I'm just giving you some connection. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisambhishanti. Swamiji, you are teaching Mandukya, not Taitya. I know, but this is not here. I have to pick up from somewhere else. Because already Mandukya says you are the Atma of even Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. How? How? Wow. We have just seen I am a Atma, Pratyagatma or witness consciousness of this waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. That much I know. What about this? It has been said in Mandukya. We have to pull from somewhere else. So Bhruguvalli says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti tad vijignyasasva. Right? Bhrugu said to Varuna that, well, you have to inquire into. So you understand Brahman. You have a jignasa for the Brahman. And then the Brahman has to be understood like this. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, etc., etc. And that is how even in Brahma Sutra also, athato Brahma jignasa. So there is a vichara, there is an analysis how one can be Brahman. So Brahman, of course, is presented there, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, etc. Brahman is presented as the cause. And there are three types of causes. One is a nimitta karanam, one is a upadana karanam, and one is a sahakari karanam. Brahman, while being advayam, limitless, the very word Brahman indicates it is limitless, which is one without the second. That's why I told you the meaning of Advaitam is, right? Dvidaitam, it is Dvaitam, na Dvaitam, it is Advaitam. Dvidaitam, which obtains in more than one, which is divided, more than one. So Advaitam means which is one without second, which is not obtained as the second. Means it is limitless. Therefore, all the causes should be Brahman alone. Right? There cannot be a material cause separate from efficient cause. There cannot be Sahakari Karanam also, the additional all causes which is separate from him. All the three causes, Nimitta Karana, Upadana Karana, and even a Sahakari Karana. Sahakari Karana you know very well. Like let you take an example of a creation of a pot. And in the creation of a pot, there is a pot maker, there is of course a nimitta karanam, there is a clay which is separate from it, it's a upadana karanam, and there are sahakari. Sahakari means additional, which helps to bring about this pot. And that is like a wheel, etc., and a stick, etc. All this. Even a donkey also can be called, which brings, this, the clay, etc. They are all also karana. So indirect karanas. So all that should be Brahman alone. And for Parmeshwara, there should not be the Sahakari Karam can be away from him. Pot maker needs all this, wheel and all that. To make Jagat, Parmeshwara needs this kind of a thing, additional things, indirect causes, otherwise he cannot make, that cannot be so, right? He is a Sarvashakti. And therefore, you can say even Sahakari Karam is not needed for Parmeshwara, just Nimitta and Upadana. That's how we always mention two. And it is Abhinna. So this is a one Lakshana of a Brahman. That's another Lakshana of a Brahman. First is a Brahmavid Apnoti Param Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, we call it as a Swarupa Lakshana. And this is a Tatastha Lakshanam. Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti. Means Brahman is the cause of this world, is called a Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means a Lakshana which helps you to identify something now, but in your understanding of that thing, well, it is not a part. They always give an example of some bird, right? Of to identify a house of somebody, right? They say, or even a clothes. Let's say, forget about the bird. In our India, they used to hang clothes for drying in the verandas, etc. So all they are there, all. And somebody was asking you a house of a so and so, and from in a community you are quite away taking a walk, and somebody is asking you, where is this house of this particular person, and you say this particular house where this the clothes are hanging, that is the house of that person. So basically this is a Lakshana. So where the house, this kind of clothes are hanging, that is called the house of the so and so person. That's fine. So basically it has helped you to identify the house of a person. But in your understanding of that house of a person, well, that thing is not a part, because once they are dried, they are taken away, right? Then definitely, still you should be able to. So, in understanding of a house of a person, clothes is not a part. Please understand. It is right now. Right now it is there, and you are able to identify through that. It's an indicator that's there. So the Tatastha Lakshana is like this. So it helps you to identify something at this moment. That's it. But in your understanding ultimately of a given thing, that this indicator or the clothes etc. is not a part of it, because that is temporary. Same way. So Brahman is a cause of this world. That's fine. But so far as the cause world is there, you will be able to say it is cause. World resolves. Then what? Then what? So therefore, it's temporary. Right now you want to understand Brahman. Okay, it's a cause of this world which you are experiencing. Anyway, so there is a Sarupa Lakshanam and there is a Tatastha Lakshanam. And in a Sarupa Lakshanam also, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, well, all three are Sarupa. It's not that Brahman is a locus or a substance of these three attributes. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are attributes, and Brahman is a very locus or substance of that. No. What is Satyam? Well, Satyam means which is existence, which is content. Both the way you can say. I told you in the last class, it's a content. While I'm talking about that meditation, I told you that. How Sat is Chit and Chit is Sat. Sat or Satyam means basically is a content. Content means basically which you can tell even which lends existence to everything. That what lends existence is a content. That's how water is a content of the wave. Water lends existence to the wave. Water is a content of that. And what is all you can say even Upadana Karanam also. But anyway, so Satyam, what is existence, is Anantam, limitless. And that limitless existence, well, is Jnanam, consciousness. So ultimately what is Jnanam is Anantam Satyam, what is Satyam is Anantam Jnanam. Either way, limitless consciousness is ever existence, etc., etc. You can say either way. Or what is limitless is ultimately existence, which is consciousness, which is existence. So either way you can say it is Sarupa. Sarupa means like that. They are not attributes. So through these words we understand one Brahman, basically Sarupa Lakshana. So we have two Lakshanas now. One is a Jagat Karanam, that is Tatastha Lakshanam, Yato va imani bhutani jante. Shastra talks about it. Even Brahmanand Valli also it talked about it, and other places also. So Sadeva Some Idamagra Asit, there also you find. Even in Aitereya you find Atmava Are Idamagra Asit, etc., etc. This because the cause of the world, etc., has been shown to many Upanishads. So you can pick up anyone. Anyway. So both the Lakshanas are there. And so basically, of course, both definitions are there. The Brahman is defined in both the ways. And both Lakshanas have to be understood properly. So, Tatastha Lakshana says it is a cause of everything, and Sarupa is the reality of that Brahman. And suppose, now which, but both do not, we cannot incorporate both naturally. One is talking about the reality. One is showing just a cause, which is a Tatastha, being when the Jagat is there, you will call cause. When Jagat is not there, you will not call cause. Therefore, that definition is not a real definition. Brahman is the cause of the world. No. So far as effect is there, Brahman is cause. Otherwise, how? Therefore, no, then Sarupa Lakshana alone is good. Then what about that Lakshana? No, that is to be taken. If that is taken, then what about Sarupa? Sarupa indicates it is not a Karyam, it is not Karanam. Tatastha Lakshana indicates it is a Karanam. What is true? You cannot incorporate both. Then, but Shruti talks about it. Then you have to understand its place. That's how you have to understand. You cannot reject it because Shruti talks about it. Anyway. So, like a cause of the world, the definition as a cause of the world is really, defining Brahman as a cause of the world is really not a good definition. Is not a correct definition of Brahman. Well, and lakshate anena iti lakshana. So by which you are able to pinpoint, that's a day, you are able to define a given thing, separating everything else. So this is really not a definition. Like I will tell you one thing, that suppose if you ask me a question, what is computer? I have to define computer, let's say. Then I say that which has come from IBM, that which is sustained by IBM, and that which goes back to IBM, well, for repair, replacement, etc. That is called computer. Hey Swami, what are you? This is the definition you are giving? This kind of definition. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisamvishanti, from which the whole world has come, by which every whole world is sustained, whole world is standing now, and to which the whole world will resolve. That is Brahman. Is like this. What is computer? There it is what is Brahman. And here it is what is computer. Well, that which has come from IBM, that which is sustained by IBM, unto which ultimately it goes to IBM for replacement and or etc., repair, etc., whatever. That is called computer. Swamiji, this is not a correct definition of. We want to know the swarupa of computer, right? And therefore, we require to know what is Brahman. That is in which this is not. This doesn't come into. Then Vishishtadvaitin says, look, that definition is correct definition. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, etc. is a correct definition. How? You should understand it. That Jagat, the whole Jagat, is a Visheshana. Like the pot, etc. comes from the clay, the pot, etc. is a Visheshana to the clay. What is the attribute? To the substance clay. Same way, from Brahman, the whole world has come, sustained by what, and ultimately goes back to. That definition is not. Don't degrade it. It is telling real definition of. It is in fact a real definition of Brahman, which says the whole Jagat is a Visheshana, attributes to Brahman. Brahman is a Vishesha. Or that way Brahman becomes Vishishta with this Visheshana. And it is Advaitam. Is the pot separate from clay? No. Is the any other thing? Instead of pot, you can take something else. Right? A pan. Is it separate from clay? No. Therefore, still it is Advaitam. But pot is attribute of the clay. Pan is attribute of the clay. Or any other elephant, etc. they make. Elephant, it is an attribute of clay. Various names, forms, but they are all attribute of the clay. Clay is a Vishishta. Advaitam, Vishishta. Vishishta Advaitam. They love this definition. Yatova imani bhutani jayante. But what about Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma? Oh, that Brahman is Narayana with Anantam Brahma, right? Yeah, Ananta Kalyana Guna Gana Sampannaha Brahman. Which is, in fact, lends existence to everything. Satyam, which alone is the real. Everything is a part of that. You are also, Jiva also is a part. You are also Visheshana to the Brahman, and the Jagat also is a Visheshana to Brahman. With the Jiva and Jagat in his body, Narayana, ultimately. Brahman is a Vishishta. It's just one. Brahman is Advaita. Amsha, Amshi, etc. Shesha, Sheshi. Amsha can never be separate from Amshi. Shesha can never be separate from the Sheshi, and thereby it is still one. So that is really good definition. Oh, if it is really good definition, Vedanti says that Brahman is Vishishta. What about the other definitions? Not just Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma we are holding on to. We are telling you another definition. Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Nityam, Agandhavat. You say Jagat is a Visheshana to Brahman. Then what are the qualities of the Jagat? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Right? So with these qualities of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Brahman is always Sagunam, Vishishtam. But Shastra says Brahman is basically Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam. Right? So and Satyam Jnanam Anantam also indicates free from any attributes. Anything which has attributes cannot be Anantam. In fact, attribute makes you recognize a thing, a limited thing. Like I have certain attributes. Over. How over means what? I have certain attributes, means I don't have a other attributes. When I count my attributes, I am a sannyasi, I am a very good person, let me tell, okay. I am a very good person, I am this, I am that, I am very generous. Means what? I am basically separating myself. That's how they are called, gunas are called Vishesha. Gunas are not sadharana. Guna is a Vishesha. It's called Vishesha because it distincts the, this is all called qualities. Qualities always definitely qualifies a person, makes distinction from other person. And therefore, Ashabdam etc. indicates Brahman is Nirvishesham Nirgunam. And you say Brahman is a Vishishtam, Sagunam. Sagunam, with all the gunas, all in the world. It is Vishishtam. So therefore, Shruti talks about it, and so we have to, and we cannot combine them. Brahman is Sagunam and Nirgunam. Brahman is Nirvishesham and Savishesham. Vishishtam is Savishesham. Visheshena saha vartate iti savishesham. Either you call Vishishta or they are called Savishesha. Right? So what is how will you resolve that? Well, Vyasacharya says it's my job. It is my job. And that is, it comes there it has been solved in a Brahma Sutra. Okay? I'm not going into Brahma Sutra, by the way, but it's because it will be too much dilation. So the reconciliation of both the definitions of Brahman has been done by Vyasacharya. There is no contradiction. Vyasacharya has proven both are necessities. Both the definitions are the necessities. When you say Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and once you say it is Anantam, then it cannot have a limit, and you have to establish this Anantam and Satyam both for the Brahman. Why you should not establish Jnanam? You say I am witness consciousness. Already you established, you are knowledge. We saw last year. Yeah? I am just knowledge. So Jnanam Brahma is Jnanam I have not to establish. But that Jnanam, witness conscious, is Anantam, Satyam, that is to be established. To establish Satyam and Anantam of the witness consciousness Jnanam, you have to take help of Yato va imani bhutani jayate. So Swarupa Lakshana, so Jnanam, you are just Jnanam, consciousness. You not have to worry about Yato va imani bhutani jayante. That Lakshana is enough. Jnanam Brahman. But that Jnanam is ultimately Brahman, which is Anantam, Satyam. Well, that requires not just Swarupa Lakshana. It requires that witness consciousness, which is Jnanam, is a cause of the entire world, is a content of the entire world, is the self of entire world. Not just you are the self for all the three. This waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. No. You are not just content of all the three. Turiya means I am pervade all the three, I am content of all the three, at the same time I am distinct from all the three. No. Vishwa, Virat have been equated. Prajnat, Vishwara has been equated. Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha have been equated by Mandukya. And therefore, this is to be established. And so, of the Sarupa Lakshana, well, even though it has been said, Brahmatma alone in Taittiriya Upanishad, Tasmadva etasmad Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Very beautifully, that Brahman, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, has been like Veda. One who recognizes that Brahman as the very I in here, which arises in your buddhi as ahankara. Well, so aham is Brahman, that is fine. But as you do this, that I am just witness consciousness, you are not able to appreciate that you are the cause of the entire world. And to establish that, you need another definition. And so, well, it has to, Anantam should be Limitless should be in terms of time, in terms of place, or in terms of attributes. So deshatah, kalatah, vastutah, limitless. And therefore, or desha kala vastu is Brahman. Right? Desha kala vastu is Brahman. So that Brahman is Anantam. And then again Vishishtadvaiti, came and he said, well, why don't you say that this Desha kala vastu, Jagat, instead of Jagat, he comes this way. Why don't you say that Desha kala vastu are attributes of Brahman, Visheshas of Brahman? So basically the substantive qualified by this attribute, which is called Vishishta. Brahman is Vishishta. So, and he said, well, you should understand that this Brahman, without this Vishesha, you cannot understand. That is very true. Because yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, etc. Where even the words and even the mind fails, they are not able to objectify. Therefore, Brahman basically is a Vishishta. And if it is a Vishishta, you will understand Vishishtam Brahman through Vishesha. Vishesha you are able to objectify. If it is anything which is a Nirvishesha, how will you objectify? That's how Upanishad just says Brahman cannot be known otherwise. Right? It cannot be known. Anything which has a Visheshana, you will be able to objectify it. Therefore, actually, you should take this Desha Kala Vastu Vishishtam Brahma. Yeah. So basically they are attributes of Brahman. Anyway, he said, how will you understand a cow? He gives example. These Vishishtadvaitin are very powerful. He says, how will you understand a cow? How will you understand any animal? How will you understand a other person? How a child recognizes different things? Please tell me. How child recognizes? Child recognizes through Vishesha. Cow is recognized through cowness. Man is recognized through manness. Woman is recognized through womanness. That's how you understand. A given thing in the world is understood through Vishesha. Here it is a jati, which is common in all. In a man there is a manness. In cow there is a cowness. So you pick up that cowness. Thereby you understand. Then from India in India you have understood cow. Once you come to United States, you also understand a cow here. Because you have picked up some Vishesha. Therefore, if you want to understand Brahman, well, you should understand Brahman through Vishesha. How will you understand Nirvishesham Brahman and gaining moksha? It is impossible. Therefore, Deshakala Vastu, Vishishtam Brahma. They are attributes of Brahman. Don't say this limitless in terms of time and place, and which even transcend time, place and attributes, which is that way limitless. Nirvishesham Brahma. Don't say that. You will never be able to pick up. That's how Shastra also says, yato vacho nivartante, etc. Anything which you don't understand, you cannot establish the existence of a given thing without its understanding. You cannot establish existence. And thereby it turns to Vishunyam. That's how Shunyavada also has come. Anyway, so through all Vishesha, Brahman is Anantam. Satyam, Brahman alone is the reality, and that is Ananta Kalyana Gunagana Sampannaha, Visheshanaihi Avachinnam, Vishishtam Brahma. So you are also Vishishta. You are also Vishishta, Alpa Guna Sampannaha. Brahman is also Vishishta, Sarvaguna Sampannaha. And you can't become Anantam. Don't say I am Anantam, Brahma. Brahman is Anantam. Ananta Kalyana Gunagana Sampannaha, Brahma Narayana, etc. etc. And Visheshana is a part of Vishishtam, and therefore Advayam. No Visheshana can be away from Visheshya or Vishishta. No part can be away from the whole. Brahman is Anantam, whole, in which the Jiva and the Jagat are attributes. So Advayam Brahma, that way Vishishta Advaita is the final principle. Advaitam, but Vishishta Advaitam. There is nothing called Mithya in this creation. Don't say Mithya. And therefore ultimately all these gunas and everything is Mithya. No, there is nothing called Mithya. The real attributes. pot is real. Don't say pot is mithya. Clay is real, pot is mithya. No, 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 no. Pot is a real attribute of the clay. Clay is a Vishishta. And if how many things you count? One, only, right? Clay. But the clay which is Vishishta, with the pot, with pen and everything. This is how the creation is. All the names and forms are not mithya. They are all Satyam. They serve a purpose and everything. So, well, at this level, it is okay. But, we go one step further. We don't say this is wrong. We don't say, when you add the upadhi, right? When you take the upadhi, well, this is fine. This is fine. But when you check the reality of the upadhi, name and form, world, or any name and form, well, you find the Sarupa only stands, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, etc. So we argue with them that you said Vishishtam, etc. Then what about this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma? What about Sakshi, Cheta, Nirguno, Keva? Nirguna? So how will you now count? Vishishtam is all guna. Anyway, so if that is the Lakshanam, then this is wrong. Not just Satyam Jnanam Anantam, but Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalo, Nirgunascha, Shabdam, etc., etc., several. Prajnanam, Brahma, etc. All these things will be wrong. So, and that you can't say, right? Because ultimately it comes from Shruti only. So, and therefore, in Lakshanam, Swarupa is important, and also Yatova, etc., also is important. Swarupa is important. Then what about this Yatova, etc., etc.? Well, one has to understand that you cannot dismiss this Jagat. You cannot, if you remember Puja Swamiji, he used to say, you cannot bypass Ishvara. You cannot bypass this Jagat, and you bypass it and still you say Brahman is Purnam. Impossible. When you say Brahman is Purnam, in fact, while giving a commentary on Purnamadah Purnamidam, Bhashyakara talks about this cause-effect relationship. Without cause-effect thing, you cannot say it is Purnam. It is whole, it is limitless, it is Sarvatma, you cannot say. And therefore, you have to pull this definition, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, which will establish the cause of the creation, karyam, and the cause will definitely pervade the entire creation. Cause is the content of everything. Cause is the self of everything, of creation, etc. So, that's how we account for basically Jagat. We account for the Ishvara, which is the cause of the Jagat. We account for the Hiranyagarbha, Virat, etc., etc. Anyway, so therefore Tatastha Lakshana is important, and now we'll go into that. Pick up this Lakshana. Sadeva Somedam Agra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. Right? Sadeva Somedam Agra Asit Ekam Idam Idam. This entire Jagat, before its creation, Agre, before its creation, was Sat alone. Therefore, it is totally indicating that the Sat is the cause of the entire creation. And the example has been given there is Ekena Mritpindena Yatha Sarvam Mrunmayam Vijnatam Syat. Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrunmayam. By one, if you understand this Mritpinda, that lump of clay, if you understand it is a lump of clay, or it is a clay, if you understand it, then whatever comes out from this, the entire world, Mrunmayam, entire earthen world, is understood as well. Right? And so you understand one clay pot. Just understand one clay pot, then everything born of the clay is understood. You take one thing, here it is, I'm sorry. Anyway, but so I'm keeping, because I need for 2-3 meditations. In morning also I talked about one meditation, I could not of course talk, but ultimately this is our bread and butter, okay? And so this, if you understand what is the content of this, what is self of this, what's the truth of this, right? If you understand the truth of this, you understand the truth of everything born of clay, because this is clay. So if you understand this is clay, you also understand the entire Mrunmayam Jagat. entire earthen world you will understand, which is born of this clay. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Mrittika iti evam satyam. And therefore, well, Vacharambhanam, all these vikaras which have come from this, all the karya which has come from this mrit, they are just namadheyam, namamatra. That is mithya. So mithya word is not there, please understand. But it said all the vikaras are just at the tip of tongue. For the particular word, you don't have a physical existence. All the vikaras have a verbal existence. That's it. Means it is mithya. Could you follow what I am saying? And therefore, Vacharamna vikaro namadheyam mrittika ityeva satyam. Pick up this word satyam. Mrit is satyam. Go to Sarupa Lakshana. You find satyam Brahma. So that Brahman also, like the mrit, because karanam is satyam, karyam is namadheyam. Therefore, same way, satyam Brahma is there. It must be the karanam for entire jagat. Right? From that satyam alone, you can understand. You pick up that satyam. Satyam is a lakshana for the mrit, let's say. And therefore, same satyam is there in Brahman. So, Sarupa Lakshana is also helpful. Satyam Brahma is a karanam. Everything else is a effect, starting from the space, etc. And very well said in a Brahmanandvali, Tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha akashat vayu vayoho agnihi agneyapaha adbhyah prithvi prithvyam oshadaya oshadibhyah annam annat purushaha. So this annamaya up to this, well, everything is born. Ultimately, all the bodies and everything is born from this Satyam Brahma. And so, Sarvasya Karanam Brahma Satyam. So, and it is a cause of the space and everything. Karana pervades the effect. So, therefore, if being a cause of even the space and everything, lending existence to everything, or the space, etc., exist in Brahman, either way, like the pot, etc., exist in clay, suppose if you want to say, well, Brahman is what? Anantam, limitless. So Satyam and Anantam has to be understood from Sarupa Lakshana through Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayante. This is to be understood that Yatova Imani Jayante, etc., proves the Jagat Karanam Brahma. Therefore, Brahman pervades everything, including space and everything, or space, etc., everything exists in Brahman. Therefore, Brahman is limitless. Anantam. And therefore, karyam karanat, ananyat, it is non-separate. So, it's a cause of everything, means basically, and karyam is basically non-separate from the karanam. Therefore, karyam is mithya, karanam is satyam. That way, Brahman is satyam, jnanam, anantam. Could you follow? Satyam, anantam has been taken. Jnanam, of course, has been already proven. So, in understanding Brahman, well, this karya karanam, etc., is not there, but tatastha lakshanam proves the karanatvam of Brahman. And since but then if Brahman is karanam, at the same time Brahman is basically distinct from karyam and karanam, how will you say? Well, because karyam is mithya, and therefore the karanatvam, Brahman is satyam, karanatvam of Brahman is mithya. Karyam is mithya, therefore karana status of Brahma. Don't say Karan Brahma is mithya, Satyam Brahma. Therefore, Karanatva status, the causal status is mithya because the very effect is mithya. And therefore, Brahman is basically Karya Karanam Vilakshanam. So, therefore, that is what, he asked, our Nachiketa asked in a Kathopanishad, right? So I wanted to know, well, the Atma, which is distinct from Krutam and Akrutam, etc. There the word is Krutam and Akrutam. Krutam means Karyam, Akrutam means Karanam, which is distinct from basically Krutam, Kruta, Krutat, Anyaha, etc. Anyatra Dharmat, Anyatra Asmat, Kruta, Krutat, etc. etc. Anyatra means Anyat. I want to know the Atma, which is distinct from Dharma, Adharma, which is distinct from Kruta, Akruta, Karya, Karana, etc. Well, So Brahman is basically, Sarupa Lakshana says Brahman is Karya Karana Ananyam, Karya Karana Anyaha, distinct. Well, but ultimately you understand it through taking help of Yato Vai Mani Bhutani Jayante. So both Lakshanas are important. Brahman is Advayam, without which value, if both Lakshanas you don't take into account, you will not be able to understand Shastra. So that Brahman is Advayam, you can very well understand, one without second. If Karyam is Mithya, and Karyam is being Mithya, if it is, even though Karyam is non-separate from Karanam, Karya cannot divide this Karana, so-called Karana, because Karanatvam is Mithya, Brahman is undivided whole. Karya cannot divide it. It's Mithya. So that Brahman is Satyam Gnam. And again you can take this Satyam as the content of everything, that which does not undergo any change, and whatsoever with respect to any names and forms, and that is the content of everything. That Brahman happens to be Jnanam, limitless consciousness. Consciousness, witness consciousness, which is limitless and which is existent, which is the content of everything. Therefore, you are the content, you are the self, you are the truth of everything, or you are everything. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. You are everything. You are space, you are time. Everything is you. That gives you a sense of wholeness. Right? You are undivided whole. So, you are the self of Virat, self of Hiranyagarbha, self of Ishvara. You can say even cause, either you say content, either you say cause, etc. You are Satyam of everything. You are Satyam of even Karta Bhokta, Satyam of the senses, content of senses, content of Karta, Bhokta, Ahankara also. So Vishwa Tejasa Prajna also. And thereby, all the three padas which has been discussed, being a Turiya, being a witness consciousness, ultimately that Turiya being a Brahman, you are the self of everything. And there Yamadharmaraja said, Etadvaitat, which you wanted to know, Nachiketa, that Atma happens to be this Brahman, etc. Anyway, now I will give you one meditation, which I am not going to, we are not doing here, but this is, you have to meditate like this. I am giving you few steps, like last time I gave you about witness consciousness. Now this time we'll be seeing, I am in the form of Vishwa and Virat, everything. Right? We will be seeing that. Okay, so you have to start like this. You start like this. I see the sky. I will say slowly, so if you want to write it down, you can write it down. You can even later write it down. I see the sky. I am conscious of the sky. I am aware of the sky. In bracket you can write, sky falls in my awareness. Sky exists in my awareness. Simple. Then I know the space between earth and sky. Right? Interim space. Means I am aware of that interim space. We call antariksha. I am not taking here Sanskrit word, but I am just saying for the sake of your understanding. I am aware of the space. I am seeing the space between sky and earth. I am aware of that. That space exists in my awareness. Right? Don't say exist in my body. That space exists in my awareness. Then I will later tell you also how to distinguish what exists outside and what exists in mind. Of course, you are aware of both. That's how you are able to say something exists outside mind, something exists inside mind. You are aware of. Means both exist in awareness, but still some more finer points I will give you later. First, you understand this meditation. So I am aware of the space. Then I see the sun. I am aware of the sun, or I am conscious of the sun, or I know the sun, either. So, then I see the earth. I am aware of the earth. Then, and then afterwards, just think of the whole globe, right? We used to see the whole globe. available in market. So like that you visualize whole globe. Means I am aware of the whole planet, the earth. So I am aware of the earth suspended in the space. That way you one more step. Then I am aware of, now come to the earth, on the earth. I am aware of the ocean. It's a step by step. I am aware of the ocean on the earth. I am aware of all the seas on the earth, right? Red Sea, this sea, Arabian Sea. I am aware of the various seas on the earth. I am aware of the land. I am aware of various plants, creepers, trees. I am aware of, I see a number of creatures enjoying various physical bodies. I am aware of all these bodies. And I'm taking 10 minutes because we will not have a class from Friday onwards till 3 weeks nearly. So I'm giving this meditation and so that we can start, pick up the bhashyam from Adrishtam, etc. from the afterwards. So I will complete this and then we'll go, okay? So please continue with me. So I am aware of all these bodies: a cow, horse, deer, elephant, anything. A camel, a bird, a reptile, a fish, all this I am aware of. They all exist in my awareness. I am aware of the human bodies, any number of them. So you will be doing meditation. So you can see, I see in my mind the few people whom I know. So I see them all. I spot them by their physical appearances. I am aware of their physical bodies. Various physical bodies, they exist in my awareness. I am aware of my own physical body. Come to the physical body now. Starting from this space, right? Come up to this. And this physical body is right now sitting in a posture of meditation, let's say. So, both the legs, basically, I'm aware of both the legs, and both are touching the ground. I feel the touch of the ground. I see from my waist the body placed erect, right? Because we sit erect generally in a meditation. I see my hands, both left and right, placed on the lap, clasped, etc., placed on the lap. I see my face, eyes closed. I am aware of the face, right, with the closed eyes. I see my back. I am aware of the back. The whole physical body I am aware of. I am aware of all other physical bodies. I see them, I am aware of. The trees and plants I see, I am aware of. I am going back again from here to cosmos. The land and the sea I see, I am aware of. Then the whole planet I see, I am aware of. The sun I see, I am aware of. The sky I see, I am aware of. The space between the sky, sun and the earth I see, I know, I am aware of. So now take it differently. The awareness behind the space in whom the sun is. The awareness behind the space in whom the moon is. The awareness behind the space in whom the stars are. The awareness behind the space in whom the earth is. The awareness behind the earth and the various things on the earth, they are also in the same space. The awareness is behind all of them along with the space. This body also is in same space. The awareness behind the space in which this body is. The sun is, the moon is, the earth is, the sky is, the tree is, other physical body is, etc. In that awareness, which seems to pervade the whole creation. That's, say again, that awareness which pervades the whole creation, whole physical creation. That awareness, I am that awareness which pervades the whole physical creation, is called Virat. Is called Virat. So behind the whole creation, the awareful being or the awareness behind it is Virat. This physical body, come to this physical body is included in Virat. Could you follow? So if I am awareness, if in the awareness is the whole creation, the awareness behind the whole creation, if it is Virat, then I see in the Virat, in the awareness, the whole creation. In my awareness, I see the whole creation. Along with this creation, I am called Virat. I am that awareness in whom I see the whole creation, in whom exists the whole creation. Because you have to repeat. In meditation, sometimes you have to repeat. So I am the awareness, I am that awareness in whom I see the whole creation, in whom exists the whole creation, including my body, what is known as my body, then mountain, trees, creatures, all the physical bodies, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the air, the fire, the water, all of them are included in the total creation. In that, I see this body also. So, I don't find any difference between Virat awareness or consciousness and the awareness I am. I am awareness in whom this body, the whole physical world is. I see, then take example, I see many pots, small and big, and I see this body seated like even a pot. The consciousness obtaining in this body is the consciousness obtaining behind the whole creation, obtaining in the Virat. So space awareness, sun awareness, moon awareness, star awareness, see the truth. Star awareness, earth awareness, sea awareness, tree awareness, bird awareness, cow awareness, man awareness, woman awareness, this body awareness, right? The mind awareness, hunger awareness, then thirst awareness, and memory awareness, emotion awareness, doubt awareness, decision awareness, etc. Awareness is same in all of them. This body awareness is awareness. The other man awareness is awareness. The other woman awareness is awareness. The cow awareness is awareness. The tree awareness is awareness. The bird awareness is awareness. The earth awareness is awareness. The sea awareness is awareness. The sun awareness is awareness. The moon awareness is awareness. The star awareness is awareness. The space awareness is awareness. The space awareness in whom all these are there, the space awareness is awareness. Awareness is same awareness. Repeat several times in meditation. Awareness is same, undifferentiated awareness, undivided awareness, undivided awareness, undivided awareness. Right? That is how you have to mentally repeat. Means a whole awareness. Either it is a Vishwa, either it is a Virat, both are nothing but this awareness. Anyway, so this is how this meditation is. There is no difference between Vishwa and Virat. The truth, the content is you, the Brahman, Turiya, Sakshi. Or you take Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, or you take Prajna and Ishvara. Ultimately, you are Turiya. who is the content of all the three. Either Vishwatej is a Prajna, either Virat Hiranyagarbha Ishvara. The self is one, undivided whole. Clear? So, this is how it is. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.